Hello and welcome to the Alchemy Lounge podcast. And in this week's episode, we are talking about planning with the lunar cycles and setting intention with the new moon. So let's dive in. I'm your host, Victoria Quance, a lifelong practicing witch and author of The Witch Way to Manifest. And after helping hundreds of people all around the world with incorporating practical magic into their business and lifestyle, I bring to you the first podcast blending personal psychology and the power of the universe with practical tools and modern alchemy to show you how to enhance your business and your well-being in the most natural way possible. This is the Alchemy Lounge podcast, where magic becomes your competitive advantage, not just a hobby. Hello, my loves, and welcome to the Alchemy Lounge podcast. And this week we are talking about setting intentions with lunar planning. Now, last week we spoke about the seasons, and I mentioned how seasons can also link in to astrology. And the moon cycles is just one way that connects us to the seasons as well. So at the time of recording this particular podcast, we are in Cancer season. So happy birthday to any Cancerians who are listening to this episode. And the new moon this week is in your sign. So the new moon will always be in the star sign of those who are celebrating their birthdays in any given month. So the new moon is the start of a cycle. Just as we approach a new moon, we have what is called a dark moon phase as well. And this is something that is really, really important to mention because it often gets overlooked. And when we are in that dark moon phase, it may be that you have a day or two when it is literally like someone has turned the lights out. And you may be forgetful, you may be struggling with clarity, you may be feeling like, I don't actually know what I'm doing or where I'm heading. And it's literally like you're wandering around in the dark just for like that 24, 48 hour period. We then have the new moon that kind of goes, okay, let's dust off, let's wipe the slate clean, and let's think about what we're doing for this next cycle, this next chapter. So it's a fresh start kind of moon. And as with anything, whenever I talk about astrology, whenever I talk about seasons, take what lands for you and leave what doesn't. And I say this because quite often, especially for women who still have menstrual cycles, even if you don't, you will have an energetic cycle. Sometimes your energy will be the opposite to what the lunar cycle is. Sometimes you will be fully in sync with the lunar cycle. So it's really important that you honor your own energies first and foremost. So even if it is a new moon, but actually it's your time when you ovulate and you're full of beans and you're full of life, then obviously lead with your own energy. It's the same when we talk about astrology, when we talk about like the cosmic forecasts. I share every week inside my WhatsApp community what the astrological goings on are for the week. But as with any kind of weather forecast, you may be in a different location. That weather may not affect you. Or even if it's raining, you might have an umbrella, so it may not affect you. So please do allow yourself to be in your own power. Don't outsource your power to these tools. I say this with everything related to witchcraft, whether it be astrology, whether it be tarot and your oracle cards, whether it be your crystals. They are tools. They are beautiful. They enhance things. They give you really good insights, explanations, and they help you make improvements. But you have the power. You are the main influence. You are the main tool in all of this, okay? And I mean you're the main tool in like the best possible way. Not like you're such a tool, like you're an amazing tool. You're the best tool there is, okay? So always lead with that. Lead with your own energy first and foremost, okay? But when we are talking about the new moon, it is a new cycle. And what I see quite often with a lot of people is they will use the new moon particularly for manifestation. And it is fantastic for that because it is a brilliant time for setting intentions. And where people go a little bit, not wrong, because, trust your own energy, trust your intuition, but where they can get a little bit caught up is they feel like they've got to start the implementation straight away. And what this can result in is either the planning phase itself hasn't really happened. We've not actually paid attention to what our true intentions are. We have just kind of jumped in and started the doing, started the action. So a lot of people will plan launches around a new moon. And I would encourage you just to move it a couple of days, because the new moon phase is really about those intentions. It's really about what we are planning. What would we like to grow over the next 28, 30 days? And this is where we want to really allow ourselves that time and space, the days leading up to the new moon when we're in that dark moon phase, the new moon itself, and just really taking the time to listen to ourselves, because it's almost like it's a peaceful time, the new moon. You know, when we talk about the full moon and people are like, yeah, everyone goes loony on a full moon, like it's crazy heightened energy. The new moon is the opposite. It is so chill. Yes, someone has turned the lights out, but that brings calm and it allows you to go inwards. It allows you to connect into your intuition. It allows you to get quiet, even if it's just for a few moments, and actually check in and go, I wonder what I would really love for the month ahead. I wonder what intentions would really serve me right now. What would really help my business over the coming month? And really allow yourself to ponder that and take your time with it, rather than thinking, oh, well, I need to do this and therefore I need to start the action straight away. I need to go into implementation mode. I need to go into productivity and busyness. And then we wonder why we are already knackered before we even get to the full moon. So I encourage you to think about what you want to plant. What do you want to plant for this new moon cycle? And then when you get to the full moon in 2 weeks' time, you can start to harvest what you have planted. So what intuitive hits are coming through for you during the dark and the new moon phases? What ideas are coming to you that are asking you to give them a little bit more attention? And you may find this comes around on repeat. So if at a new moon you start to get the same ideas that you had last month, but actually you never got round to the implementation phase, perhaps you disregarded them as, oh, that's a nice idea, but that's not for me. And that's okay too, right? It's all in our own timings and what is meant for us and what it isn't. You can use your discernment, but if there is something that is coming up on repeat, perhaps it's time to give it a little bit of attention. And what I would also say, especially on the manifestation side of things, if there is something that you are writing on your manifestation list, writing your intentions every new moon, and you have been writing the same thing for 3 months or longer, there is something else that needs your attention, because no manifestation, no goal should take longer than 90 days. Okay, if you need to break it down and do it incrementally, then by all means go for it. But if something is taking longer than that, then it's either that it's not truly aligned, or there is something else happening, whether it be to do with your energetics, your nervous system, timing, logistics. So many different factors can be at play, but allow yourself this time, this space, this quiet to reflect and see, actually, do you know what? I have been working towards the same goal for over 3 months. Give that a little bit of thought and a little bit of attention. Is it actually what you want? Because quite often we say we want something, but really deep down, it's because there is an expectation that we should want it, or other people have said we should want it. And if we're really honest, maybe it isn't quite what you want. So I encourage you to allow yourself to explore that, especially when your intuition can be heightened during these times as well. Now, like I mentioned at the start, every moon will be in a certain sign. Every moon will be in a zodiac sign. And the moon moves through different signs and also different houses. Now, if you are familiar with astrology, another really fun thing that you can do, this is what I love to do with my clients, is to look at your natal chart. Look at your rising sign. That's going to give you a lot of information on your houses, your ascendant sign. But for every new moon, you can do this for the full moon as well if you wish to, but for every new moon especially, have a little look what house the new moon is in. So when I was talking about the cosmic weather, almost, that's how I view any planetary goings on, any astrology. I view it like a weather forecast. When you look at your house, that tells you exactly where that weather is playing out for you. So say, for example, you are a Cancerian. So say it is your birthday this month. This is your moon. You're going to have Cancer in your first house. So that is going to be all about your image. It's going to be about your reputation. It's going to be how you portray yourself to other people. Just to give you an example. So every house impacts on a different area of your life. You have a house that is corresponding to your career. You have a house that corresponds to your money. You have a house that corresponds to your relationships. These are also the houses and the placements that we look at when we look at your business plan, because there is aspects that inform how you best market. There are aspects that inform who your ideal clients are. There are aspects that inform what branding is going to make you stand out the most. So it can give you so much information. So if you wish to go deeper with your new moon practices, by all means, look at what house the moon is in your chart. And you can either do that by looking at your sun sign, which is your star sign. So like I mentioned for the Cancerians, or by looking at your rising sign, your ascending sign. A lot of people will say the ascending and the rising sign is a little bit more accurate, but it is entirely up to you. As an Aquarius, I tend to find the Aquarius full and new moons are very, very high energy, very potent for me. But for the rest of the year, I will typically look at my ascendant sign, which is Gemini, and I will look at the house that the moon is in based on my ascendant. But there is no right or wrong. And if you look and you think, actually, the moon is currently in my finances zone, and that is really where I do need to be paying a little bit more attention, then that's your signal to honor that. But if it comes up and actually, you know, it's in your friendship zone, for example, and you're like, my friendships are great, I don't really need to give any extra attention there, but your ascendant is saying something different, then just go with what is most appropriate for you. Use your discernment again. Okay, so the houses can give a little bit extra insight as to where in your life this moon may be giving you an extra little nudge to kind of focus your intentions on. And that's also really great if you're somebody who maybe struggles with knowing what intentions to set or what goals to have, or you're kind of just like going with the flow and you're like, I don't really think about what my goals are. And sometimes we don't in business. Sometimes we kind of just go with the flow and then we blink and then it's been 3 months and then we're like, oh, maybe I need to like have a little look at what I'm aiming for in business. What is my focus for the next cycle, for the next month? So the house can actually help you do that. And like I say, you can actually link that to your business as well and look at what your business needs in any given month. You can even have a natal chart for your business if you know the moment that you actually officially opened your business or officially registered for HMRC or you officially launched your website. You know, you could even get a natal chart for your business. But for the majority of people that I work with, like, they are their business. So if you're building a personal brand, if you are the business, if people are working directly with you, if you're a service provider, then going off your own natal chart is absolutely fine. And you can get your chart completely free online. There are so many websites where you can grab a copy and then you can start to see, where these different placements are on your chart. But I will do a different episode all about the astrological placements as well for you. So do keep your eyes and ears open for that particular episode. The other thing to note with moon signs is the moon always connects into our emotional self. So if you do have a look on your natal chart and you look what sign your moon placement is in, that tells you a lot about how you emotionally regulate. It tells you a lot about your own emotional intelligence and what you need to feel emotionally safe and stable and happy. Okay, it comes back to your core needs and what you want and you desire and you deserve to feel safe and emotionally sound. So that's the other really cool thing when you look at your moon signs, is that emotional connection. That's why a lot of times people say when they're emotional, like, I'm just going to blame it on the moon, usually the full moon, but sometimes the new moon too. Now, because we are in Cancer season, I want to just give you some final little tips if you are listening to this as the episode airs, as it drops, or it just so happens to be Cancer season in a different year from which we recorded. When we are in the sign of Cancer, when we are approaching the new moon in Cancer, we are really focusing on our home life. So if you think of the symbol for Cancer, it is the crab, and the crab lives in his happy little shell. So this is where we want to look at, are we in our happy space? Is our home reflective of what we want it to be? Is our home mirroring the version of ourselves that we want to be? And when we're looking at that in business, have you got the space for your clients, for example, if you're doing things from home? Have you got the office setup that feels good to you? Have you got something that feels expansive for you and for your business in your home environment? That is something to really look into during the Cancer season, but also really focusing on your own well-being and nurturing you. Cancers are very sensitive people quite often, but they are also very intuitive, very in tune with how they're feeling emotionally, but also what they need and what other people need as well. So really tap into nurturing yourself, asking yourself what you really need at this particular time. What does your business need from you? And what do you need from your business? Okay, and how can you perhaps over the next month, how could you prioritize your well-being a little bit more? And there is often so much hesitation for business owners to do that, because we feel like, well, I can't possibly, because I can't take the time out, or I need to be doing all the time, I need to be productive, I've got too many things to do. I invite you to just connect in and see how that is serving you. A lot of people thrive on that and they do really well on that. But if you are someone who is perhaps a little bit more sensitive, and just ask yourself really honestly, have you neglected your own needs for the sake of your business? And how is that working out for you? If it's working out for you and you're not feeling the strain or the impact and your health is actually thriving, then okay, great. But if you know actually it's starting to take its toll and you're either falling out of love with your business as a result, or your home life is being neglected as a result, or your own mental health is suffering, or your health physically is suffering, we can use this energy, this whole Cancer season energy for the whole of this month to really help us nurture that and change the way that we're operating, the way that we're working. And every new moon will give you this opportunity, because it will be in a different sign. So you can look at that sign and look at what it represents and use that to actually consider that area, just like you will with your houses if you want to go a little bit deeper. But even if you don't, the sign itself will tell you where to focus. So for this season, it's on your home life and your well-being, your emotional needs, and the emotional needs of your business as well, especially if you are in holistics or service provision. Your well-being matters. It matters no matter what area you're in, or whether you even have a business or not. But especially if you are giving to others or you're holding space for others, we want to make sure that you have filled your own cup, so you're in overflow. Okay, Cancer is also a water sign. So if emotions are high during this time, just allow yourself to ride that wave. Emotions are there as signals to tell us what needs to change, what needs to move. Emotions are energy in motion, so we can utilize that. We can use that to support us in actually what does need to change in my business. Where am I overworking? Where am I not receiving what I need? And what can be put in place to better support me? Okay, my loves, I trust you will have taken exactly what you need from this episode, and I really look forward to seeing any of your comments and your thoughts. And if you do enjoy a good old new moon ritual, I do tend to welcome newbies into the University of Alchemy and Manifestation during a new moon. So we have a new moon ceremony to welcome them and also just connect to the gorgeous souls that are already in there. But if you are enjoying a new moon ritual, I hope it brings you exactly what you wish for if you're manifesting, and if you're cleansing your space and really utilizing this gorgeous energy to turn inwards and connect to your intuition and your guides. I wish you a very blessed ritual as well, and I will see you on the next episode. Thank thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Alchemy Lounge podcast. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe and share this with someone you feel would benefit from this magic as well. And remember, you can collect some freebies and goodies all over on my website, vqlifestyle.com, including the 5-day reset for your business and your well-being. And of course, the Witch's Blueprint, which is integral for your business to help show you how you can work with astrology and tarot to enhance your business in the best way possible. Thank you again, and I will see you on the next episode.